Good morning. Welcome to the DunnWisdom Morning Show. It is Tuesday, you guys, so you know what that means. It is My Success Book Club, where we talk about an author. My name is Nerissa Dunn. I am your host. I'm also the CEO of MD Marketing Network, and I am also a candidate for Lauderhill City Commission, seat number 2. So today I am speaking with Miss Nerissa Street. She is an entrepreneur, a teacher, a speaker, and she just added author to her resume. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to get some nuggets of wisdom and learn more about her success strategies. Miss Nerissa Street. Hey, Nerissa. Good morning.
Hi, I feel all kinds of awesome nuggets of wisdom, things like that. I don't know, and it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. How you
No,
doing?
I am well. No pressure, girl. We're going to speak like we always do with ease and grace.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell my fans about you.
Oh gosh, that's a well. So I am the multiple award-winning uh, performing arts teacher as well as a media educator. I've been speaking publicly for 20 years. They tell me I'm an outlier because I have 15,000 hours of progressive public speaking experience. And I am really, really excited about amplifying women's voices and making sure that we are on the platforms that we need to be on, and feel that as an affectionate introvert, which is what I've discovered I am, that you don't need to change who you are in order to make your voice heard. So I'm really happy to be here. And yes, I'm an author as well.
So I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties on my side here. The audio dipped out. So Nerissa, I'm going to log out and
Mhm.
log back in. In the meantime, I want you to
Oh,
keep speaking. Tell us a little bit about your book. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All
I'm
right.
sorry
Why
if,
don't you
if,
tell
if
us a
you
little bit
can't.
about your book while I fix things on my end?
Sure, sure. Okay, so I will do something a little bit better than, let's see if I can. I wanted to share my screen, so let's see here. And maybe I can, maybe I can't. If I can't, the screen should show you my the book 31 Days of Yes. Um, and if it doesn't, I don't think it does. So the book is 31 Days of Yes, and it is a 3 minute a day guide for you to come to terms with a lot of the things that may be going on or have gone on in your life, and to change the story that you're telling yourself about yourself. It is a inspiration guide that I previously published in 2013 with the help of an organization I was working with, and chatted with them about being able to take over the manuscript and republish it again with, of course, some tweaks and edits and things made relevant for the new age that we're in. And so now it's available online, and it's been a joy to release.
Mhm.
It's something that I'm able to, because it's an ebook, it's something that I'm able to tailor to the people who order it. So what I've been able to do, and it's been fun, I've signed it, e-signed it, and then there's certain places where I mention you specifically. And so if I get an order specifically, like say from you, Melissa, then there's a place that I have in the book where I can tailor it to you. So
Oh,
it's
I
fun.
love
It's something
that.
you can put on your device, and I'm really happy that you're giving me the platform to talk about it.
Yeah, no, I'm happy about that. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's the link that you can use to get the book. I also have it in the caption if you do want to get her book. 31
Okay.
Days of Yes. I love
Yeah.
that title. What inspired that title, Nerissa?
Well, the book was written, it's really interesting. The book was written in 3 days, right? And it basically came as an inspired writing, so I don't know if you've heard of that kind of term before, but basically,
Yes, I have.
in
I'm a
okay,
huge, Abraham Hicks fan. So yeah.
okay, awesome. So it came as the answer to a question. And so it was just a series of writings that came in. Like I said, it was 3 days of writing, and the sections of the book came relatively quickly. So the each day is a specific title, and those came relatively quickly. And then for the 3 days afterwards, it was just each one. And then I spent some time kind of moving it around because I'm a storyteller, so I wanted it to have a certain flow for the people who are reading. And I'm really happy with where it landed and how it's been received. So it's been selling, and the people that receive it, they always reach back out to me and tell me, whatever particular day
Right.
speaks to them. And one of my dear friends, she bought a copy for herself, and then um, bought 10 copies for her family. And so this was when it was being released as this physical book. And I'm just really humbled with the fact that something that was inspiring to me is inspiring to other people, and really excited for this reboot, and happy that it's still relevant. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things for me that's been so important, particularly in the pandemic, is for me to
Hmm.
lean into my practices. And
Right.
so having a book like The 31 Days of Yes with daily nuggets that I can meditate on, I can imagine that that would be really powerful.
Yeah, it's a colleague of mine says, make sure whenever you're writing something that you read it yourself as well, that you do your own work. And it's been fun to go back over it and really dig back into, and as you're calling them, practices, because especially in the time that we're in right now, the practices are so important. A colleague of mine, a dear friend, is also a meditation teacher, and it's been beautiful to continue to do those kinds of practices just to remind yourself who and whose you really are.
Yes,
And
I'll give double snaps to that.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, we
And
have
we
some folks that are watching us. Let me just get them in to say hello, good morning, real
Good
quick.
morning. Good
Hey,
morning,
Miss
Joy.
Joy, blessings to you. Thank you for watching. Joy says that you're amplifying women's voices. I love that
Absolutely.
too, Joy. And then Peter Gay,
Good morning,
another
Peter Gay.
author we got on the show. She say good morning. Good morning to you, Peter Gay. And then Jay Seaton, that's my cousin. Hey,
Good
cuz, thank
morning,
you for
Jay.
watching. Thank you for supporting as always. So, Nerissa, what are your practices? How do you keep yourself grounded?
Oh gosh, community is actually one of my biggest practices. I cannot tell you how much I have been able to lean into community during this pandemic, which I think feels counterintuitive, but being able to create my own community. So I have a group that I work with, the 10,000 Women, 10,000 Stages, serving them, like talking to them, re-engaging with them is something that reminds me the reason that I'm doing the work. Also, being outdoors in nature, like I'm not outdoors with bunches of people, not doing any of those odd little parties that I keep hearing people doing, but just being outside and enjoying what really is one of our greatest gifts, the planet that we're on. I think is amazing. And then prayer, prayer. If
Yes.
you don't specifically connect with a deity or a divine, presence, just think of prayer as speaking positively to yourself about yourself. right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for those of us who, if you've had a bad experience in a spiritual place, in a church or a temple or a mosque or whatever, don't give up prayer. Prayer is something that is really something that affirms and reminds you of who and what you are. And even in the worst times, if you can speak something positively to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
the mind acts on the images and the words that you give it. So no matter what's going on, if you can speak positively to yourself, just think of prayer as that, and that will be very helpful to you. So the 31 days of yes is really just 3 minutes of positive prayer to yourself, reminding you what's really the real and really what's important. And when you shift yourself, then the environment around you shifts. So, and I think we really need to stay focused on that, because so much crazy is out, right? But you don't have to be crazy with it. It's something that my family reminds me of, because I feel the pain of the people that I serve, and just going right back into those practices. Like, you don't have to be part of the crazy. Just speak affirmation to yourself, and remember what's the real. Right?
All right. So we have one of our guests joining us from YouTube. Good morning, LSJ Productions. Thank you for
Good morning,
joining us on our
LSJ.
YouTube channel. Hey, did I even mention to you guys we're simulcasting on both YouTube and Facebook now? And of course, good
Good
morning to
morning.
you, Miss Virginia. Thank
Good
you.
morning,
Hey guys,
Virginia.
if you have any questions, please do type them in the chat and we'll get our guests to answer them. So Nerissa, you said a couple of things that I thought was really powerful.
Sure.
I do have a morning practice as well. You mentioned going out in nature, and I've just started a ritual where I get up every single morning and I drive to the beach just to be there to watch the sunrise and to give thanks. And it's really powerful. I mean, I'm a runner, so I usually am out anyways, maybe 2 or 3 mornings a week on the beach running. But I've decided, you know what? Let's just try it for the rest of my 30-day gratitude challenge. Let me just
Sure.
go to the beach every single morning and just say hello. And it's a really powerful ritual. It's helping a lot. It's grounding me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have to. I think the other thing, especially working with women, I think one of the things that we forget is really how powerful our voices are and our imaginations are. So if you understand the history of spiritual practices, it's usually the women who bring them forward. It's usually the women who are the ones who are the keepers of the spiritual practice, no matter whether the priest or the minister, whoever is male. It's the women who are supporting it, right? And it's because our consciousness and our imagination is fertile. It's meant to be soil, right?
Yeah.
And so I think if we remind ourselves that we are really driving a lot of this, we're doing a lot of the support. So where is it that you're allowing your mind to be used? What fertile ground is your mind? Right. So yeah, I've got to till my garden, make sure to take out the things that I don't want to see in the world, and stay focused on that and act on the things that I know are real. So yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. I think one of the things that we have to point out is that we are creators, right? We are creators. So our thoughts and our words and our feelings are really laying the foundation. We're scripting our success, if you will. Let me get in with another good morning here. Another person
Good morning,
joining us from
Idelma.
our YouTube channel. Morning to you. Thank you for joining. And then he says, I did that same thing yesterday morning for the first time on the way to the beach now.
Beautiful.
Yes, I just came back from the beach. So enjoy. There's just something really therapeutic about it that I love very much. One of the things that I believe, Nerissa, and I'm wondering if you share this belief, I really believe that success is not a secret, it's a system. What are
Right.
your thoughts on that?
It's absolutely a system, and it's an interesting that a lot of my interviews are going in this direction. But I just had a conversation on a podcast about the system behind success, and I say one of the things that is really, really important in your success is that you are converted to your success first before you try to convert other people to what you're bringing to the table.
Absolutely.
And I think the issue with that, as you're talking about systems, is what kind of infrastructure of support do you have around you? What are, going back to what our practices are? I think one of the biggest things that we fail at here in this country is thinking that success is individual, right? It's something that we achieve on an individual basis. You really, if you look at sustained success, it has everything to do with what you're doing as part of a community, how you're contributing to a community, and then how the community contributes back to you. Those things are based on the infrastructure, as you're talking about systems, the infrastructure that you set up. So what are some things that you are doing to enable yourself to sustain the success that you start? So really, I'm at a space right now where I'm looking at what's in my life right now and how is it contributing. And if it's not contributing, if it's not helping sustain, that it needs to be moved away. And now space is being made for the things that will help sustain me and help me enjoy, right?
Absolutely. Peter Gay wants to know, well, actually, let me ask this question first before I ask the other one. She wants to know, how did you come to see success as a system? Yeah, I think Nerissa kind of answered that a little bit a few seconds ago. But for me, I see success as a system because it's the way that you think, as well as the way that you feel and the way that you show up. So it's a series of rituals, it's a series of actions. For me, having a powerful morning routine is a part of my success system. Having a team that is supportive and forward thinking, that's a part of my success system. What do you think, Nerissa?
Well, I think one of the key things is when you look at what the definition of a system is, it really is something that is establishing things, as you said, as a routine, right? So institutions are also known as systems, and they're known as systems because they're establishing processes and procedures that can be self-maintaining, right? So what are the things that you can put in your life that'll start to become automatic and self-maintaining? And that's one of the reasons that the book is called 31 Days of Yes, is because it's about establishing something that will become self-maintaining. They say all the time about 21 days being what you need to do to establish a habit. But for me, I also find that working in the systems that have already been established, like a month-long system, because 21 days is kind of like here, there, hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a number that you can kind of come off of. But giving somebody, like I said, 31 days, you can start it in July, you can start it in August, you can start it in June, doesn't matter.
Right.
But giving people, looking already at the things that are in place that can be self-maintaining, following the systems that you're already following, just using those to help you establish routines that will help support you. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of habit stacking, kind of, stacking one habit in front of the other. So for example, in the mornings, when I'm getting ready, when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm listening to my affirmations, I'm doing my devotion. And so sometimes, yeah, as you practice those systems, setting yourself up to win is really important. So there's one more question here for you, Nerissa. What do you have any other books?
So it's really interesting. Thank you, Peter Gay, for asking that question. There's another book that I have the idea for, but I'm only willing to do it in a community. So as I flesh out the idea and outline it, then I'll start to approach other authors to help me with it. But for more,
I'm curious, what's your creative process like when you sit down to write a book? Like, what is your creative process? Is that something you could share?
Oh, absolutely. So, it's interesting. I'm a reader first, right? My mom will tell you that I was reading at age 3. I was reading the cereal box on the table at like 4 years old. And I just absorb stories, right? So in my thought, the stories are really what's going to be engaging human mind, and the research tells you that the way that you really connect with people is not just by giving them information, but by giving them information in a way that's progressive and relevant. That's a story, right? So when I think about what it is that I want to create, story is always driving me, right? And so what story can I tell with something that I'm starting? It can be maddening at some points because I see stories everywhere. But what I find is that if the story returns, like the idea returns to me, I'll get ideas all the time. But if the idea returns to me, then I write it down in some way, shape, or form. If you come to my house, there are bins, not boxes, like bins, those nice little plastic
Wow.
bins that are clear of journals, right? Because just full of
Wow.
ideas. But the ones that return are the ones that are meant for me. Like I've seen ideas that I've had be manifest through someone else several times. But I don't really have any attachment to that because it was an idea I had, but it wasn't one that stuck. So I think for people who are thinking about the creative process, think about the one that nags you. Think about the one that keeps returning to you, and then make the time for it.
That's such a powerful advice and idea. I've thought about perhaps writing a book one day, but I'm not really quite sure where to start. Where did you start?
My own experience. What book did I need to read? So
Oh,
what?
really?
Yeah. What book do I need to read? What book is it that I'm starving for? What book did I need to read 10 years ago? What book did I need to read 3 years ago? So the one that I'm looking at working on right now that I'm actually really excited about, the more that we talk about, is a book that I needed when when I lost my mentor. The book that I later needed when I lost my mentor and really lost my way is the book I'm working on right now. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm so happy to be in the place that I am now. But I feel like there are some years that were lost, and I am hoping that someone else doesn't have the same experience. So, what book is it that you need?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. I actually do have the idea for a book.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like one of those things waiting until you have the end of your story so that you could kind of write the lessons learned. But I am journaling, and I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
tracking the process and the systems that I'm putting in place to help me to navigate. So I'm
Would
gonna
you
call
mind
you.
would you
Huh?
mind if I speak into that for a second?
Yes, please
Okay.
do.
So, interesting that you're talking about waiting till the lessons are learned. So I recently did a workshop called Only Smart People Procrastinate, right? And the waiting for the lessons are learned or the right time or whatever it is that you're thinking of is one of the reasons, that women like us wait. Like we want to wait till it's right. And the thing about that is that you're also, there's other reasons why you're waiting. And I would dig into that, and I would say that you probably should have started the book already.
Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps. Okay. All right. You're being channeled this morning. I
You
received
probably should have started the book already. And so remember, and this is for not just for you, but for your audience, remember that especially if an idea keeps coming to you, it's coming to you also with all the resources that you need.
Ooh,
But
yes.
there is a reason, and this is one of the reasons why I do this workshop on a regular basis, because I get really good feedback from it. Only smart people procrastinate, but it's usually only smart women procrastinate, and there's a reason, So I think just start it and see what insights that you get from it, and as basically the world is learning, you start something, and if it doesn't work in the direction that you think it should work, you pivot, right? But I would say start.
I love that. If it doesn't work in the direction that you think it should work, then you pivot. And you know what? That's really my approach in business. So why wouldn't that be my approach when it comes to trying something new that's outside of my comfort zone?
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about getting a writing coach actually, because writing is, I'm much more comfortable speaking than I am sitting down and writing. There's like a whole process. I had a journalism teacher in college who traumatized the heck out of me. So I'm learning to release that. Yeah, so I'm thinking about you getting a writing coach. So do you do writing coaching?
Love that you asked that live on the air. I really appreciate that. I would say that I do different types of coaching. Writing is probably not the one, but the coaching that I would do is the coaching you need right before you start writing. then I'll hand you off. Because the issue isn't starting the writing, it's continuing to write.
Yeah.
So I don't do that, but I do the setup so that you're writing the right thing, because that's the other thing as well. A lot of us like think about the stories that we want to write. And one of the things that I talk to my clients about is telling the right story and not telling too much, right? So there are these pundits that talk about when you get up in front of people, one of the great things that you need to do is be vulnerable, right? And I say to hell with all of that, right? Especially in places where a lot of times if you're vulnerable and you're vulnerable at the wrong time, it will delay the good work that you have to do. So what I say is you need to be transparent, which is slightly different, right? And so for me, what it is I work with people to identify the right story to tell, right? And that's a story that you tell from a sense of power. And so, I think what it is connecting with the places that you are the most empowered, and we think we know what those are, and a lot of times we need a witness for that. So I found I have a really great coach that I'm working with right now. She's amazing. She hopped on the call a little while ago, and I don't know if she's still there. But I also work with as someone who respects coaching. I don't take on people that I don't think I can coach. So I think what it is making sure that whoever it is that you connect with, they're the right fit for you, and they see you, like they really, really see you and really understand how amazing your story is. And your story, like our connection, and I see the plaque behind you, the LRCC plaque. We've been connected for several years, and I think we've been in a mutual respect thing for several years.
I have a coach that I work with. I have a coach that I work with, and she's being very helpful
Good.
as I develop other areas of my life. But I specifically want to work with someone also that's going to help me kind of figure out my story and start
Sure.
putting myself in a place to write. But I want to also go back to this question right here. So, okay, so you've already started the book, right?
Yes, Adela.
And then there's a question too about wanting to attend your workshop. So the question is, when is it happening again?
That's a great question. So I don't want people to procrastinate. It's happening September 1st. And actually, great that you asked that question, because listeners to this particular show are getting an exclusive discount. I'm not advertising it anywhere else. If you use Melissa's last name in all lowercase, so DUNN, you get a discount on the workshop. So it's under the beyourown.answer.com/Melissa Dunn. All the workshops are listed. And if you use DUNN in all lowercase, it says enter promotional code. That's the discount for those of you who are up early this morning and getting your DunnWisdom.
All right, yeah. I love it. Let me put that in the chat. What did you say the discount code was?
So it's your last name. It's your last name, DUNN, all lowercase letters, and you'll get a discount. And it's just for fans of Melissa Dunn, and I'm a fan of Melissa Dunn. So
yay! Awesome. Okay, so I just put that in the chat. The discount code is done. All right. So you know what? I might actually take that workshop too, and I definitely want to talk to you.
Be ready.
About this. Huh?
I said, be ready. I do not play. So
listen, listen, growth happens sometimes on the edge or in the midst of discomfort.
Right.
And I am so clear about that, and I am cool with it. Let's get it done.
Absolutely.
So do you have any final words of wisdom that you want to share with us?
Sure. I really, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to share the story with everybody here. And I'm hoping that everyone is really valuing the time that we have during this unprecedented time. And I believe that this is the time for us to really start acknowledging the power that we actually have. Your voice is needed now. Okay, your voice is needed now. And I encourage you to connect with me at any point. You have all of the contact information, beyourownAnswer.com/Melissa Dunn. Feel free to reach out to me for anything. I'm here for you. And again, your voice is needed now. Please, please, please get off of whatever it is that you think that you need to wait for and get out there.
I love it. Let's get it done together. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your words of wisdom with us. I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Stand by. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching today's DunnWisdom Morning Show episode. I want you to see my shirt. I'm wearing a shirt that says Shape Your Future, #Broward Census 2020. Wherever you are across the U.S., if you haven't yet completed the U.S. Census, I encourage you to do that. Getting counted is so critical. The funds help us to help your local government to be able to fund and create infrastructure like hospitals and schools and roads. So please, please, please complete your census. You can do that in 3 ways. You can do it online at census.gov. You may also call in, and you may do it through mail. I'm particularly urging my City of Lauderhill residents to make sure that you do your census. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with another empowering conversation. Remember, be kind and loving to yourself, because you absolutely 100% deserve it.